All right, guys, for our learning activity today, we're going to play a listening game. This game is called Miss Sydney Says. Now, it's kind of like a game called Simon Says, except for my name's not Simon. So we're going to play Miss Sydney Says, and here's how you play. I'm going to say a movement or an action that you have to do, but you can only do it if I say Miss Sydney Says before, okay? So I might say, Miss Sydney says, pat your head. Miss Sydney says, touch your nose. Pull your ear. Oh, but I didn't say Miss Sydney says pull your ear, so you're not supposed to pull your ear, okay? Only do the action if I say Miss Sydney says before. Okay, so we'll try another practice one. Miss Sydney says, nod your head. Miss Sydney says, clap your hands. Touch your shoulder. You weren't supposed to touch your shoulder because Miss Sydney didn't say. Okay, do you understand? You have to really listen. If I say Miss Sydney says before the movement, then you do it. If I don't, then you're not supposed to do it. Okay, here we go. I'm going to try to trick you, so you better be listening. All right, I'm going to stand up over here. We're going to get ready to start the game. Okay. Miss Sydney says, touch your toes. Miss Sydney says, clap your hands. Miss Sydney says, pull your ears. Pat your tummy. Miss Sydney didn't say. Did you do it or did you catch it? Did you do it? I don't know. Miss Sydney didn't say. So if I don't say Miss Sydney says before, don't do it. Are you guys ready? Miss Sydney says, stand on one foot. Miss Sydney says, jump. Miss Sydney says, twist. Miss Sydney says, kick. Miss Sydney says, touch your elbow. Touch your nose. Did you catch it? I didn't say. Miss Sydney didn't say touch your nose, so you aren't supposed to touch your nose. All right, Miss Sydney says, shrug your shoulders. Miss Sydney says, pat your head. Clap your hands. Miss Sydney didn't say clap your hands. All right, you guys ready? All right, let's start again. Miss Sydney says, flap your arms. Miss Sydney says, wiggle your fingers. Miss Sydney says, give yourself a hug. Touch your knees. Miss Sydney didn't say, I hope you didn't touch your knees. Miss Sydney said, give a hug. Miss Sydney did not say touch your knees. All right, here we go. Miss Sydney says, put your hands on your hips. Miss Sydney says, touch your shoulders. Miss Sydney says, touch your mouth. Miss Sydney says, rub your tummy. Turn around. Miss Sydney didn't say turn around. I bet I tricked you on that one. Okay, let's try again. Miss Sydney says turn around. Miss Sydney says touch the floor. Miss Sydney says roll your arms. Miss Sydney says punch the air. Miss Sydney says touch your neck. Miss Sydney says touch your knees. Touch your toes. Miss Sydney didn't say touch your toes. Did I trick you that time? Miss Sydney says, are you ready? Miss Sydney says, make a muscle. Miss Sydney says, clap your hands. Miss Sydney says, shake your head. Miss Sydney says, shake your arms. Shake your legs. Oh, Miss Sydney didn't say shake your legs. All right, hope you didn't get tricked on that one. All right, Miss Sydney says, make a squeezy fist. Miss Sydney says, open your hands. Miss Sydney says, flap like a chicken. Miss Sydney says, shake your bottom. Miss Sydney says, touch your cheeks. Miss Sydney says, touch your head. Miss Sydney says, touch your ears. Miss Sydney says, blow a kiss. Miss Sydney says, roll your arms. Miss Sydney says, clap your hands. Wiggle your fingers. Miss Sydney didn't say wiggle your fingers. All right, you guys ready? This is going to be our last one. All right. Miss Sydney says, touch your hips. Miss Sydney says, touch your knees. Miss Sydney says, touch your toes. Miss Sydney says, touch your knees. Miss Sydney says, touch your toes. Miss Sydney says, touch your knees. Miss Sydney says, touch your toes. Miss Sydney says, touch your knees. Miss Sydney says, touch your toes. Touch your knees. Did I turn cue that time? Miss Sydney didn't say, but I was going so fast. You might not have caught it. All right, guys, I hope you had fun with our game, our listening game, to listen for what Miss Sydney says. I love you so much. I'm going to blow you one more kiss. And I'll see you tomorrow for another learning activity. Good job, guys. Great game.